Today I'm going to just do a little upgrade to my J-tube. I'm going to put in something called a P channel, or Peter channel, and it's just a strip of metal that goes in the burn box, in the wood feed. I'm just going to flick over. I don't have my GoPro today, so I just got my phone. Okay, so it's a strip of metal. The burn tunnel is running this way, from left to right of the screen. So what I just need to do is just dig out this little bit of fire cob here. I'm going to mix that back up with some water. I've wanted to do this for a while anyway, and add some black oxide to that, so when you open this hole there isn't such a large contrast of colour between the grey and into the firebox there. So I want it just to look black. It's just that this cob gets pretty dirty and it just looks kind of mucky. So I'd rather it just look black so you can't see the muck in it. So I've dug all this cob out. The reason this little bit of fire cob is in here, I'll just move that, is just really to keep this flush, because as you can see now it sits lower. So that was all. So it just rises it up a little bit. What I want, the P channel should sit across here, which is a piece of metal that allows airflow to come down here and keeps this area cool. You can see that this piece of granite is already cracked, and that's just from heat. This is the hottest part. So what I will do is I'll cut the P slip and the P channel, sorry, to size. I'll drop it in, test it, etc. And then I'll repack in the cob mixed with the black oxide, and as it's soft I'll actually push in the P channel into the wet cob and just wiggle it around a little bit, and it will just leave a groove there, and then I'll take it out and I'll allow it to dry, or I may even just leave it in and allow it to dry. We'll see. It'd be nice to, it's just a very thin piece of scrap metal that I found lying on the side of the road, so I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know if I maybe need to get some heavier gauge. I haven't been able to find any specs on the P channel. So I've just got a bit of fire cob that I've had sitting in a bucket. I threw the other stuff just in the dry bucket to use for later. As I thought, I may end up, it might take too long, and I may end up adding too much water, etc., etc. So I just use this fresh bit. So I'm going to add this black oxide in. I got this from a ceramic supply. You can get it as a cement additive from pretty much any hardware store. Not aware if it's exactly the same thing. This is for pottery, and maybe this is stronger. I don't know. So I asked the girl at the shop how much I should add, and she had no idea. So I'm just gonna eyeball this. I'm just gonna guess it. I ended up using the whole lot, which was 100 grams. It was just sort of looking greyish, and I really wanted to get it black. And even now that it's a dark grey, and I'm guessing that'll lighten up to some degree. It may not, but we'll see. So it was a bit of an experiment. That's quite an expensive experiment. I've got to say that was $5 for just the 100 grams. So that's the P channel finished. I've just stuck in these zinc bolts. I don't know how long they're going to last. That's what I had lying around. I just bolted on and cut to about 6 mil. Ideally the gap's supposed to be about 6 mil. So that's it installed. You can see there's a little bit of overlapping clay here. I'm just going to wait for this to harden up a little bit. It's quite wet at the moment. I want it to be a bit more malleable, and I can make it a neater job. I don't know if the smoke time was different, which is what I was kind of shooting for. Supposedly this increases combustion and also protects this area. This kindling is really not very dry. I'm at the shoulder season now, so I'm not going to go out and buy any dry firewood. Yeah, I mean it's 15-18%, which is considered dry, but you can hear it hissing in here. Smoke time was about 3 minutes, so we'll see if that's any different with some dry kindling. What I have noticed, or maybe rather haven't noticed yet, is this sort of chugging sound that you get where the flame's darting up and down the burn tube. Happens in combustion heater as well. Happens when you've either got too much oxygen or not enough oxygen. It's just an airflow issue. Donkey refers to it as seeking, and I haven't noticed that that's happening yet. And supposedly I listened to a podcast with him on the Abundant Edge podcast just a few days ago. I think it was last Saturday it got released, which was the end of August. If you have a look on there on the website, the abundantedge.com, he talks about seeking a fair bit on that. And yeah, I haven't noticed that yet, but I'll keep going. I'll put some bigger wood in a minute and see how we go. I found some really dry hardwood, some old decking wood that was untreated that I found outside a decking factory, just small offcuts. So that was super dry. It was like 8%. I did a test on it, and yeah, there's no smoke now. So any smoke issues I've got is just purely because of wood.